Are you a person who often dreams or has desires and you imagine how you want your life to be? And as much as you dream and as much as you desire, it appears as if you are unfulfilled. Your dreams don't come true. And the desires that you have for your life, whether those desires are to have a new job, whether it's to lose 20 pounds, whether it's to have healthier relationships, to write a book, to go back to school, to grow your business, whatever your desires are, it seems like no matter what you do, you just can't seem to make them become a reality. And you feel as if you're on this hamster wheel just spinning, and it's like Groundhog Day after day. I recently heard a saying or a phrase coined by David Bear, the podcast host of A Changed Mind. And I loved what he said. And it's this: desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. Let me explain. If you have a desire to have better health, lose 20 pounds, or to grow your business, have a podcast, write a book, if you are in resistance, now what does resistance mean? You have this energy of you have to fix, you have to force, you have to make it happen. You make a list of all the things that you have to do to get this done. And you put this pressure on yourself, especially when you don't see the results that you want. And so you create this energy around you of resistance. And when we have that resistance, we often don't get the desired result. Let me share even further. So I read a reading every single day from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. And this one was today's reading. And I just want to share with you one little part that she shares. The title of this reading is Learning to Wait. She says, the people who are most successful at living and loving are those who can learn to wait successfully. Not many people enjoy waiting or learning patience, yet waiting can be a powerful tool that will help us accomplish much good. That is something I have struggled with for much of my life, having patience and waiting. I often attach to an outcome. If I decide I'm going to lose weight, or I want to get healthier, or improve my relationship with my kids, then I just will make this list and I'll start to do all the things or research, read a book, or take an online course on how to do X, Y, and Z. And then I come at it, or I used to come at it with this energy of forcing. I have to control and I have to fix and I have to make the outcome happen, not only happen, but happen in my timing. Oftentimes, when I don't see the results of my desire or see an outcome, I start to get frustrated. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you have felt this way as well, that you've set a goal and you do all the things. You check off your list, you do everything that you were taught to do or everything that you thought you could do to make this desire come to fruition. And when it doesn't, you start to get in this energy of, I knew I wasn't worthy of it, or I'm not capable. I can't make a successful podcast. I can't lose 20 pounds. I can't write a book. That's for other people. I can't speak on stage. That's only for other people. The other thing that we do to put ourselves into this resistance energy is that we go into comparison. So if you're at the gym and you're looking at other women who look really thin and fit, and you're like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be like them? What is wrong with me that I can't have a successful coaching business like this one or that one? Or I want to be able to speak on stage like so and so, but I don't have what it takes. The moment we start to put ourselves into that space, that energy, and that is something the perfectionist will often do, is go to comparison or start to put this internal pressure on us to do everything perfect. And then when it's not perfect within our timing, we feel as if we failed. And then we'll often want to give up because we go from all in to, when we don't get the desired result or outcome, we do nothing or we procrastinate. And we do sometimes just give up and say, okay, forget it. That's not for me. I quit. All of these things that I'm saying to you, I can 100% relate to. When I was first starting my teaching career, I was 24-ish, maybe 25. I remember going home every night at the beginning and just crying and sobbing and just really making a declaration that I was not going back. The reason that I cried every night in the beginning is because first of all, I had at-risk students on the verge of dropping out. This is like their last ditch effort to graduate from high school and get their diploma. Most of them don't even make it through this program, but this was the program I was teaching in. I couldn't get my students to understand the teaching concepts right away. I couldn't connect with them right away. They did not like me in the beginning. Really hard, side note, really hard for a people pleaser, but they did not like me in the beginning. And I was like, how come I can't connect? What do I need to do? I'm failing. It's all because I was trying to do it all perfectly all at once. There's a learning curve. It takes time. And as this reading from Melody Beattie profoundly states, we have to learn to be patient. We have to learn to wait. Oftentimes, good things that happen to us take time. Even my husband, for example, he has a very successful business. He's an entrepreneur and did really well at it. But it was over the course of the last 25 years, the business really grew. It didn't grow overnight. Sometimes there are people who seem to have instant success. Like overnight, they become a celebrity or they become popular. And even in those situations, I would probably venture and say that even they spent a majority of their life honing their craft, whether it was an athlete, a singer, an actor. Most of the time, it's about a growth curve. We don't allow for that. We don't give ourselves the grace and have the patience to wait for things to happen. So, going back to the phrase that David Baer used, desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. So what I want to say to that, while I feel it is profound, it's very helpful. I repeat that in my mind all the time. But I want to add the caveat that when you say, I want to lose 20 pounds or start a podcast, you don't have this expectation that you're going to get the desired result overnight, even if you're in non-resistance, even if you allow it to just be and let go. If it doesn't happen instantly, which most likely it won't, learn to be patient. There's another piece to this non-resistance part of it. This is something I outline in my book, which is trusting our guts, trusting our intuition, and aligning with our intuition. When I wrote this book, I didn't even really truly want to. My ego was telling me, Kim, do not do this. You're crazy. Do not take your mask off like this for the world to see. Do not be vulnerable. Do not share yourself. Stay behind the mask. Protect yourself at all costs. What are you, crazy? Now, that's what my mask was telling me. My mind, my ego, my fear was telling me. But there's another part of me, obviously, because I wrote the book, and the book is called Free to Be, A Pathway to Inner Liberation. And it's available now. It just came out on October 15th. So I encourage you to grab your copy. I'll have a link in the show notes, and you can go to my website as well. Here is the thing: when you can align with your intuition, you can align with your gut. What I say to myself is that I listen for and follow the breadcrumbs. I follow what is guiding me next. And that allows me to be in this non resistance place. It allows me to say, okay, universe, I would like to start speaking on stage, rather than putting all this energy behind it of I have to force it and make that happen. I do a couple of things. I take action, because we always have to be taking action steps. Nothing comes out of thin air. I can make a list or do the research for those things that I need to do in order to speak on stage. Then I just do the things. I put myself out there. I find out, what does it take to be a speaker? I'm looking into doing a TED Talk. What are the steps included in that? All the while, I'm listening and tuning in to my intuition, to my gut. What's the next step? If I have 2 or 3 people in front of me, or 2 or 3 opportunities, I follow my gut. I align with my intuition. And when we move through life in that way, we are in non resistance and more likely to have that desired outcome. I wanted to share this with you today because this is a completely different way of living than the way I was raised. As a recovering codependent, a recovering perfectionist, a person who has a strong inner controller, if that's you, this way of living, this way of being will be completely different for you. But it's amazing, because when you can go through life in this non resistance way, there's so much more joy, there's so much more freedom. And when you feel in alignment with what the universe has lined up for you, there's no freer way to live. That's why my book is called Free to Be. It's a pathway to inner liberation. My book outlines for you how to create inner liberation for yourself so that you can have joy, you can have inner peace, you can have abundance, you can be free. I do hope that you'll grab a copy for yourself, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. If you have questions about how it works, let me know. If you go to my website, kimgrosscoaching.com, after you've purchased the book, you can put your name and order number, and you will get a free gift just for buying the book. And I can promise you that this gift is going to really help you dive deeper into the book itself and guide you as you read it, and help you to unfold and unhook from your patterns even more. So I would love to hear your thoughts on the book and this podcast episode as well. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you feel like this was meaningful, if it was a golden nugget for you, I would love for you to leave a review. If you're listening on the podcast, if you're on YouTube, click that subscribe button. And if you know someone who could benefit from this content, I would love for you to share with them as well. And together, let's push this content out. And make a difference in the world. Let's make this like masks off mission something that everyone can experience. I will see you next time on Masks Off.